What is going on, guys? Middi here, and yes, we are bringing the Odin back, but not just any Odin, my anime weeaboo version of it. And if you guys are new here, as always, smash the sub and like this video so you can keep up to date with everything I bring out, Modern Warfare and Warzone related. Now, if you boys haven't even landed in Warzone and picked up the Odin, then you understand why this thing is an absolute beast. It outputs an extreme amount of damage, and with the right attachments, you can almost turn it into a sniper, single tapping people across the map. It's the only gun that comes with a Colossus suppressor, but I will feature two setups in this video. One that's going to be really good for the long range, basically a sniper, and more of one which is long to mid range, but you can use it in any situation pretty much. Now, I've won quite a few games with this gun, and it is something I use regularly. When you first use this gun, you're going to notice how much recoil comes with it. If you don't use any grips and you've not got a Colossus suppressor on, this gun's going to fly about and it will probably put you off actually using the weapon. But once you start putting a lot more attachments on it and seeing what works for you, you'll learn to deal with the recoil, and it will make it a much more reliable weapon to be used for mid-range battles. Hitting them upper chest shots will rip people's armor apart. I've noticed that its bullet penetration is a lot higher, similar to LMGs. Its normal magazine count comes in a little low with 20 bullets you're going to get for the gun, although you can have the option to stick a 25 or 30 round mag on it, but at the price of less aim down sight speed. The sights can also be a bit funky, as only certain types work well with this weapon. The stats of the Odin: it has the highest damage output out of all of the assault rifles, but the lowest fire rate. You do have the choice to put a burst fire 2-round shot on, but I'd really only stick with that if you're going to be using the gun like a sniper. I do think this is quite an underrated gun. I only see a fair amount of people actually using this, but it's always been my favourite weapon, even in the early days of Modern Warfare's multiplayer. So when you're using this in Warzone and you start hitting your upper chest shots to headshots, you're going to see the true power of this bad boy. If I'm diving in the early game, I normally try to find the common or rare variant of this Odin, as it just seems to shred people insanely fast. I'd easily put it as one of my top 3 weapons to use within Warzone. But now I'm going to jump into my weapon setup that I actually use for this. I'm going to go over 2 different ones. I'm going to have one which is going to be my close, mid to long range weapon, where it's going to be used in kind of any circumstance. And then I'm going to have an actual sniper variant of it, just something that you can test out and try for yourself. So this is the first setup that I'm using. And now actually jumping into the Odin setup of what I use for it. Starting off with the muzzle, we've got the Colossus suppressor. Now, the only one you're going to find, the only kind of suppressor that actually comes with an assault rifle, gives it massive sound suppression, damage range, and recoil control. Massive recoil control, which is what we need on this gun. You can of course use a monolithic suppressor, but the Colossus just seems to have the most benefit. I mean, look at that range difference between them. I mean, it is no question really. It is a very, very good suppressor to have on your weapon. Next, for the barrel, you're going to put the 730mm on it. You can go for the 810 if you're starting off with the weapon. You don't obviously have this barrel yet. Depends if you want to have more mobility or more control, less mobility, your choice, but I always stick with the 730, because even with the Colossus suppressor and this barrel, it still has recoil on it. I know. The next, I normally put a tac laser on it because of everything we're putting on it. It's going to kill the aim down sight speed massively, so the tac laser is going to give us that aim down sight speed back. Of course, if you're not a fan of having a massive green laser show on your gun, you can take this off, go back into it and put a stippled grip tape on it, your personal preference, but like I told you, tac laser for me on my main setup is what I have. As for the sight, there are tons of sights that you can put on this gun. The VLK-30 optic for some reason just fits extremely well with this gun. I've tried others like a Scout Combat optic and other stuff. I'm just not a fan of it. I just think having the VLK is one of them things that can hit people long range, but mid range also, and even close. You can of course experiment with these and try and find something that you prefer, but I will always stay with the VLK. And the last attachment on this setup is going to be the Ranger foregrip. We're going to have one more bit of recoil on this weapon, which is just going to push the control way ahead of where it is, and it's going to just make the gun stay completely still when you're firing fully auto with this, because we don't want the gun to move at all. And that is it for the first setup of the Odin, which we are going to jump into some games now and try out.
Grijp hem, grijp hem. Ah, fuck!